The lobster is one of the largest of the shellfish. In the United States, we have two kinds of lobsters. The true lobster is the American or northern lobster, better known as the Maine lobster. It has claws on the first four legs, lacking in the spiny lobster. The spiny has a pair of horns above the eyes, lacking in the true lobster. The spiny lobster is usually marketed as lobster tail. The record weight of the American lobster is 45 pounds. Lobster can be caught throughout the year, but they are most plentiful in the summer when they come closer inshore. The lobster is like the blue crab in its growth. It sheds its hard shell and grows a new, larger one. The lobster will molt as many as 20 to 30 times before it reaches a marketable size of 1 pound, which takes about 5 to 7 years. In this segment, we're going to be covering lobsters and lobster tails. We're going to show you the difference between the Florida lobsters and the Maine lobsters. Now we have the two Maine lobsters. We have your female lobster on the right and your male lobster on the left. From above, if you notice, the female has a little wider tail and your male is a little more narrow. The female lobster has a wider tail because underneath she needs that extra room in order to have space to carry her eggs. And you'll also notice she has a little extra membranes on her particular fins in order to hold the eggs. She also has a softer sex flap. On the male lobster, it doesn't have quite the extra membranes, and it has a stiffer sex flap. Now there's two different ways that we can handle these Maine lobsters. One way is we can just take and boil them like we do a blue crab, or we can take them and split them in half for broiling. You can take it and just turn it upside down, laying the lobster out, taking the curved edge knife like you'll see me use quite often in these demonstrations. You take your hand, you place it over the top of the claws, take the knife, make an incision, turn it around, and just break it open like you're opening up a book, all the way down. Then you just reach in toward the top of the lobster and remove the little sand sac in the mouth area. Then you can come back and remove the center vein, which you'll see right down there. It's a little dark vein. Okay, the next thing to do, after you remove the sand sac, which is up in the top forward part of the mouth, you remove your vein, your tamale and roe stays in. That's all edible. Then what you want to do when you're going to broil it is just remove the rubber bands off the end and take your knife, come back, and just with a swift knock with a hammer or a knife, whatever you have to do it is easier. You want to crack those claws slightly so when you broil it later, it'll be a lot easier for you to get into the shell after you're seated and eating. Now we're going to show you how to split the Florida lobster tail. And if you noticed here, this has a wider tail like we discussed earlier in the Maine lobster. And when we turn it upside down, you'll also notice that it has the heavier, wider fins to hold its eggs, like we discussed earlier on the Maine lobster. Now there's two ways you can prepare this. You can turn it, use a round curved edge knife, put your hand down and split it through the center. And after you do that, you'll end up taking it, breaking it open, and you'll have two exposed halves. But when you cook it in that manner, it wants to curl up. It's a little easier to remove it from the shell, but I'm going to show you what I like to do best. What I would like to do would be to take a pair of shears. If you don't have any like this, just get you a regular pair of heavy-duty scissors and trim off these fins first. Or you can use your knife. If you got a knife and not that, just take your knife, turn the lobster on the side, and just cut down and trim them off. I'll show you. All you need to do is just press down, and you can remove them in that manner. Or you can come back with a pair of scissors, which may be easier for a housewife, and just take and snip them off. Reach up, just clip these extra fins off. Now we're going to take the shears and we're going to cut down the sides of the apron to remove the apron. Now, if you're a little more experienced with a knife, you can also do it just by cutting down in a circular type cut. But again, we'll show you with the shears. You just stick inside the edge and just clip it right on down the sides of the lobster. Go from one side to the other. Now after you've cut it down both sides, just take your fingers, hold your apron at the top, and just peel it right up from the meat. And then just grab it and just release it. Easier said than done. Now what you want to do is just take the shell, hold the shell firmly in your hand, grab your thumb, stick it in between the meat and the shell, and just remove the meat right from the shell. Just roll it right on back, almost as if you were trying to do a shrimp. Hold the fins, gradually just move the meat out of the tail. Okay, if you'll notice, you got all your tail meat, just like you would in a shrimp if you pop that last tail joint properly. You don't want to remove this shell and throw it away. Just move it off to one side of your board. Now what we want to do is we want to check and see if there's a vein in the back of this lobster and remove it. Just take your knife, just make a small incision down the back like we were deveining a shrimp. It's very easy. Once you take it, peel it back, and then check it for a vein. There's a little vein toward the end that we just pull out. That's all it is. Okay, after you've split the lobster toward the back, remove the vein, what you want to do then is you want to take and place the meat back in the shell. Once you have it placed back in your shell, being it's in the opposite direction, it shouldn't curve up as bad as it does if you have it completely split. Another good tip, if you want to leave the tails on, that's good for aesthetics, but it usually doesn't work out well when you're have it in the oven and you're cooking it. They'll burn up and crisp up a little bit. What you may want to do is just take your knife and trim this extra fin just by rolling right on through. Now you're ready to have it prepared to put underneath your broiler. If you'd like, you can do like your lobster. You can put a crab stuffing in it and broil it with the crab stuffing. If not, it's just as good with a little butter and lemon juice and salt and pepper, and that's all you need to do.